huge affection for you from the Celtic support for a massive year in the club's history and all that. Obviously, in recent years, with your media career, there's been a wee bit of kind of criticism about, because you've been deemed to be a bit too critical of Celtic. How does that sit with you when you hear all that stuff?
I couldn't be more relaxed about it. I mean, when I played, I got a level of adulation I've never had before. And I also got some criticism, and honestly, it's fair enough. There were times there were times I didn't play well, and I totally accept the criticism. But when you're, in a winning team that wins the league, wins the cup, the adulation you get is amazing. I was at a Pollock game 2 or 3 weeks ago. Didn't have a game on a Saturday. I went along to see Pollock. I'm queuing up for a coffee. And I didn't realise it was cash only. So I was walking away. Oh, sorry, I've only got cards. The guy behind me said, would you mind if I bought you your coffee? I said, oh, you're all right. I'm with a couple of friends. He said, no, I went to Celtic every week in the centenary year, the years after. He said, you're one of my favourite players. A 70-year-old man, maybe.
Brilliant.
And it's lovely when you meet guys like that. I was down doing a game in England when Celtic were playing Bayern in Glasgow. So I was coming up on the train. It was full of Celtic supporters. One or two just wanting a selfie, wanting to talk about the game. It's very rare I get any stick sort of face-to-face, but Frank will tell you, I have got no social media presence whatsoever. I'm not interested in engaging in any chat with anyone, and I am not a cheerleader. I never have been.
That's what I was going to ask, because and I've read interviews of you in the past saying that, and some pundits are cheerleaders. I look at you and I think of a guy who had a very successful football career and now a very successful career as a journalist rather than a pundit. So you're a journalist, so therefore impartiality, I suppose.
When I finished the year 2000, I was 35 and I got asked to write a column. I was getting asked to go on TV, radio. I used to do a thing for teletext back in the day. So the accumulation of these things, and I thought, you're dead right. I think that this could be a career. And I always remember people at Radio Clyde, people at STV, people that I respected, that I trusted. Always remember there's two teams on the pitch. And I remember the first time I was criticised heavily. We were doing a Celtic Rangers game for STV. I was doing it with Archie McPherson. And Rangers won. They beat Celtic 2-1. Bert Conterman scored that outrageous goal. It's a brilliant goal. Yep. Anyway, my job as co-commentator was to man of the match. And I gave it to Barry Ferguson. And I got absolute dog's abuse because of that. And I remember meeting Paul McStay a few days later, and he said, Andy, you were dead right. Barry ran the show that night. He was the best man on the park. So any criticism you're getting. And for that to come from Paul, who knows a thing or two about playing in the middle of the park, I thought, you have to take these things with and sometimes you can be a bit too sensitive to it. Believe me, I'm not. I haven't been for a long time. Good.
Come back to your Celtic career, and then you leave the first time, and was it Brady? I think was in charge, wasn't it? Yeah. And I think you've been a wee bit critical of him in the past as well.
Yeah, it was time for me to go. And Liam initially was very warm. He was very kind. He was very open to. I'll try and help you get him out. I didn't have an agent. And I'd gone to Newcastle on loan. Stupidly, I had gone when I was injured because it was such a great opportunity. I should have held back. So that was a missed opportunity. And then Falkirk and Motherwell came in for me and offered money to Celtic. It was around 150 grand. And Liam thought I would go to one of the two. I said, Liam, I don't want to go to either club. I want to go down south, and I don't care where it is. I just want to experience something different from Scottish football. And I couldn't believe it. He said, if you don't go to Falkirk or Motherwell, I'm going to stop your wages. And of course, my wife was pregnant at the time, had to go home and tell her that this was a new problem. And just unnecessary stress, strain. And the reason I lost respect for Liam was the way he was treating me as a footballer. I just felt as though I didn't deserve it. He was making me train with the 18s. He was making me go along to their games. He was putting me on the bench for every game. And he was telling the coach that I had to come on with 1 minute to go. So I had about 3 or 4 of those games. And for a manager to treat any player like that, I just thought it was pathetic. And I lost all respect for Liam after that. One of the great things about it, Simon, and I don't know if I've even mentioned it to Frank, it's just come into my mind. I remember feeling as though I'm getting treated really badly here. And I remember Paul standing up in the dressing room, Paul McStay, and he stood up and addressed Liam Brady and said it's a disgrace the way you're treating Andy. He doesn't deserve it. He wants to go, but you want to stop his wages. And I thought, Paul, this is my fight. I'll handle it. But I was so thankful that someone like that had just stood up and spoke. Well, captain material.
There you go. So you hear so many great things about Paul McStay, and then you hear something for the first time that you didn't. And it's just
that was him just trying to look after a former teammate. I mean, I was happy to go, and Celtic were moving in a different direction. Absolutely fine. I was so grateful to have played for my team, and for Paul to give me that level of support. It was just wonderful.
So the return to Celtic in '94 and introduction to Fergus McCann, that must have been an education too.
Yeah, what happened was I was getting out my door. I was going on holiday to Spain with the wife and kids, and I got a phone call from Lou Macari. Can you come up and sign? I said, Lou, I'm going out the door to go on holiday. And he said, will you come to Glasgow to sign? I'm under a bit of pressure here. And anyway, long story short, I went out with the family to Spain. A couple of days later, I flew back to Glasgow to be paraded in front of all the press. And then when I flew back out to Spain to rejoin the family, I got a call saying that Lou Macari had been sacked and my move wasn't going to be recognised by Fergus McCann. So I flew back to Glasgow to have another medical at
Some holiday for your missus, this one.
At Fergus's insistence, I would have another medical. And then we sat around a table. I was with my brother at this point, and my dad was on his last legs at the time. So it was the biggest reason I was coming back. Yeah. My dad was suffering from cancer at the time. So this was July, maybe the July. And my dad died in the October. So it was great to come back and spend the last few months with him, with my mum, be around the family for as much as I was. And Fergus, I found him okay. He,
sorry to interrupt, did you have any dealings with him? No.
Well, he said to me, we got a kind of weird situation here, unwilling selling club, unwilling buyer, and he's talking about, Bolton wanting to take me back. And I remember...
He's Irish.
So I remember Tommy was actually the manager at the time, and my first month's wage slip, I noticed this deduction of $29.99. I'm like, what is that? And Fergus had taken the cost of the strip that I had posed with on the day that I signed. And then the next month, I got a bill for return flights from Spain. And I'm going, Tam, what do I do about this? He says, he billing you for, you're coming back to the club to sign and he's wanting you to pay it. And he burst out laughing. He said, leave it with me. And Tommy went up and sorted it. But he wanted me to pay for a strip and he wanted me to pay for return flights to Spain to come back and have a medical.